I mean, if your end game is to have a house in the Hollywood Hills or a penthouse on the Upper West Side, fuck you. Forget about it.
Dude,
You're not gonna.
no, man.
You'll never get in there.
No. I live on a
But
mountaintop in Virginia. It's got 500 people. And I'm just like, and it's funny. It's funny because the people in this town that I know that I go, like my wife plays a concert and we'll talk and like, oh, you're an actor. Oh, well, how? You're in Virginia. They don't realize you can self-tape down here and then travel to the next job. I mean,
yeah,
it's all changed, but like, my goal is just support. Like I said, like, Hollywood Hills, that's not, if this does happen, it's great, but I mean, realistically, it's not going to happen. I mean, that's just something that you have to be happy with what you're doing at the time,
yeah. Well,
and always
ultimately,
looking to
that's
go
what I
forward.
wanted. When I was in high school, I thought it was going to be Hollywood. Then I went
Did
to
you?
film school on the West Coast, and I'm like, you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what? F the West Coast. Then when I went back to Maine after film school, 9/11 happened. And there was a big exodus of the film industry after 9/11. And I'm like, that might be my ingress.
Yeah.
Because I never considered New York seriously. And I wouldn't mind learning how to make films in an urban environment. So I moved
Yeah.
to New York based on that. I had no job offers. I wasn't enrolled in a class. I saved up some money over the 3 months of a summer shift at a restaurant and
And
moved
you
here.
memorize the subway system.
I memorized the subway system over the course of
Yeah.
the preceding year.
Yeah.
Yes, you remember that story.
That's,
I visited New York twice before moving here. And the first time I
yeah.
took a map from the MTA because they give away free maps of the subway, and I hung it on my bedroom wall. I took down all the movie
Smart.
posters, all the artwork, and I only had that up. And every day I would just almost I would I mean I don't have a photographic memory, but I would just like stare at it, blink my eyes real quick because if you blink your eyes, you can kind of remember patterns.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing.
It's just like light, right? When you blink your eye, you see a certain image.
Yeah,
The same.
yeah. And if I can just sear that into my brain.
Yeah.
By the time I moved to
Yeah.
New York of Labor Day weekend of '03, man, I was
It's like,
just I was getting around. No question
yeah.
about it. There's
No
only a couple
Uber.
of times where
Yeah.
I got a little frazzled because
Yeah.
it was a weekend and on the weekends they fuck everything up. But
Yeah.
that's
Yep.
that was the only learning curve. But
Yeah, when I first moved to LA, they had what's called a Thomas Guide. It's a big map. You had to memorize that. So, I think that that time Garmin was just coming out with their navigation system, but it sucked. So you still had the book. You had to memorize where to go. So that's why navigation didn't matter. When navigation came out with the phone, I already had it all memorized in LA. But when I came to New York, first time meeting you, I was taking Uber because like shit, I don't want to get lost. And you're like, dude, what are you doing? Just you got to memorize the subway system. Come on, man. If you're gonna work up here, you got to know where to go. And I thought, you know what, that's true. So I'm still haven't memorized it, but I'm going to be working on it.